just for the sound, you know.
You need one of the things.
Oh yeah, like the movie clipboards.
Is that what it's called?
I don't know what they're actually called, but I know what you mean, where you snap down and it's like take one.
Straight in front of the yeah.
Alright, take one. So here we go. I'm here with Aamar Aslam, someone that I've come to become quite good friends with, I think. But someone that I look up to and that I've met through Warwick Entrepreneurs. He came to the summit last year and did a speech with his co-founder and one of his employees, who also was his friend at Warwick. But I'm going to let Aamar introduce himself and a little bit about what he does.
Sure. Yeah. So as Bailey mentioned, thank you, Bailey. I'm Aamar Aslam, and I run a company called Funding Invoice. I run a couple of companies actually. So Funding Invoice is kind of the main business that I run. I set up when I graduated from university, and as you know, because you spent some time with us, we run another company called Lacuna, which is a fashion holding company, which basically does it runs a load of the back office functions for different fashion brands. And then aside from that, I'm involved in a few property-based deals personally, and a couple of other things as well, which we'll talk about
later on.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So yeah, as Aamar just said, we'll talk about these all the different businesses and different things that are going on with you a little bit later on. But firstly, I want to give you a little bit of background to the person behind the business. So what were you like growing up? What was your background like? Did you come from a middle class family, low class? What was
low class?
Yeah, in the low class.
You can't say that.
No, I'm just trying to get some context.
No, yeah. Look, I wish I came from a middle class background, but no. I mean, no, we come from a pretty working class background. Yeah. It wasn't. I mean, normal school, normal kind of education. I was always, pretty. I was quite good at scores, which is the thing. I mean, my mum kind of pushed me towards that, which was, great, I guess. I mean, I think one of the most useful things I think that kind of pushing me towards education thing helped with was going to university. I mean, I think people these days talk a lot about, and this is kind of going off on a tangent a little bit, but people talk too much about how there's degree inflation, right? Where everyone's got a degree, and so there's no point going to university or whatever. I don't think it's true at all. Like for me, going to university helped me reinvent myself as a person.
Yeah.
Like you get to meet some amazing people. Not every smart person goes to university, but almost every person at university is pretty smart, right? Like you go to Warwick, it's full of smart cookies. So like it's a great place for me it was a great place for me to meet. I mean, look, I met my co-founder there, right? Yeah. And then university themselves invested in my business as we left. So like, I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for university in the first place. So I mean, when it comes to kind of entrepreneurship, I probably set my first company up when I was like maybe 14, 15 years old, when I used to run like nightclub events. So like, we used to have like a local nightclub in the town we're from called Woking.
And was this local connections? Like you knew the guys that ran it, exactly. Or was it just you?
No, so we used to book out the venue.
Okay.
And then like hire a performer and just throw these big giant parties, right? And like we'd have like up to 1,000 people there. It was mad. Like, it was really good fun, but it all sparked from just us wanting to get into nightclubs. Like so we were like 15, 16 years old, and you've got to be 18 to go out, right? And so we thought the only way we can get in is if we book the venue out, and then you can't really turn us down, right? You can't turn us away. And no one, because it wasn't like the done thing. No one does that when you're a kid. No one ever questioned whether we were 18 or not. Right? Yeah. So like you're kind of booking these venues out, and you're just turning up to the parties, and like you put on the show, and people are like, oh yeah, hi Mark. Like and then like it didn't.
So this wasn't profit motive. This was party motive.
It wasn't necessarily party motive. Yeah, it was party motive. Yeah. It was like, but no, and then so after the first time we made a bit of money out of it, and we thought this is doable. This is potentially viable. And like the very worst case, it looks good in your CV, right? Like, is the way we thought about it. And so did a couple of those throughout college, and then came to university time. And I think, as I've told you before, and as I've told other people, when we went to university, we set up like my brothers and my co-founder Calvin, we set up like a chauffeur and limo company. So we had a couple of big kind of multinational corporation clients, where what we were doing was sending, so we go to like the local taxi rank at Woking station. We find the guys with the nicest cars and say, look, we can get you more for your work. So we were taking people from I won't mention the company names, but from some big companies to the airport.
Yeah.
Right? And we go to the local taxi rank and say, guys, we can get you more for for your work, but you're going to have to wait 60 odd days for payment, because that's when we were getting paid, right? So we were going to these clients, and we were saying we'll take your guys around to the airports, to London, to wherever it is for a month, and then we'll give you an invoice saying you owe us 20 grand or something like this, and then those guys would pay us in 60 days from that point, which was really shit when it came to, sorry, it was really
you can swear, it's cool.
Yeah, but I'm trying not to. It's better that this is a family friendly thing, right? And I can string a sentence together without swearing. So so no, we where was I? We would so we'd have to pay these guys once we got paid in 60 days. And so the drivers started getting quite annoyed, where 60 days wasn't 60 days anymore. We weren't being paid in 60 days. We've been paid in 90 days, for example. And so the drivers got annoyed and said, look, we're going to stop working for you unless you pay us. And so I went to kind of a high net worth investor, friend of mine, mentor of mine, who's now an investor in Funding Invoice actually, who loaned us, I think it was like 40 grand at the time, which is a lot of money when you're 18, 19 years old. And this was after being turned away by every bank out there. And so this guy said, look, here's 40 grand, pay your drivers, and when you get paid, pay me back plus some money. And it was a plus kind of a return. And it turned out this was quite lucrative for him, and it was helpful for us because it gave us the cash flow that we needed to keep the business afloat. And so then when it came to, did that for sort of 2 years. Final year, calmed down on that a little bit.
What do you think the calm down was? That what do you think it was the rise of the Uber and all these other airport chauffeuring companies coming about?
I wish it was as fancy as that, but it was just exams, man.
Really, like, just priorities taking over.
I had exams, and plus at that point I knew that kind of running, it wasn't quite as cool as Uber, right? Like it wasn't like a tech-driven chauffeur company. It was just
a lot of admin.
It was just a lot of admin. It wasn't as the money was okay, but it was just a lot of admin.
Yeah.
And so we kind of, instead of carrying on with that, I decided I wanted to be a banker. Because we went to Warwick and studied economics, and that's what everyone does, right? And so I interned. I had a bit of offers afterwards, and then thought, look, I mean, if I can get an offer now when I'm just a grad, or haven't even graduated yet, I can definitely get one if I do. If I try a year's worth of business and fail. Right?
Yeah.
So the very worst that can happen is that my CV looks better than it does now.
That was the biggest thing when I met you, for the first time a few months ago. About half a year ago now, was when you were talking about, especially for students out there who are looking to create their own companies, right? Take every situation as a win-win, right? Because you went out there with, I'm going to start this business. If I do it for a year and it works, great. I've got a business, I can hire people, I pay people's jobs, which pay for their houses and whatever. It's a good feeling. And then if it doesn't work, you can go to any sort of bank consulting place or whatever you want and go, I've got a year's worth of experience of doing a lot more than any graduate role ever.
It's true. And the thing is, it's weird though, because you that is definitely the idea I had. But then after a year of doing it, even if it went badly, I just didn't feel like I would want a job at that point.
Yeah.
Now, I just couldn't leave this and go and work somewhere.
Yeah.
Unless I had complete autonomy over my role.
Yeah.
Or something, right? I'd have to, I just couldn't go and do a grad scheme now. It's just too regimented, and it's too... and look, it's not that it's a bad role, right?
No, not at all.
Schemes anyway, they're really cool, really great learning experiences, and maybe you're I mean, I'm trying to tread carefully, but I think maybe the mistakes you can make can't be that bad, right?
Yeah.
Whereas in this business and in any business, if you make a giant mistake, it could just completely ruin your business. Right?
Yeah.
Whereas I don't think you have that, and not that that's an appealing point, but it just means that you have to learn a lot to make sure you don't make those mistakes. So yeah, man, that's kind of how we ended up here. And then fast forward almost 3 years now. We've moved offices. We've a team of 7. We'll be 15 or 16 by the end of the year.
So what's the journey been since, let's go back to uni. So you got some investment from the university?
Yes.
Was that from an incubator or accelerator type thing, or did you just approach the university?
Yeah, so the university have Warwick Ventures. So Warwick University, where we both went. Where you still go, right?
I still go, yeah. When what?
When did you graduate?
Next year.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Fine. And so... Yeah, so Warwick Ventures are they're a wholly owned subsidiary of the university who commercialise university IP. Really cool bunch of guys who run it. And generally speaking, it's let's say the physics department have come out with innovative robot or something. The Warwick Ventures will help them commercialise that and turn it into a business. And so we went to them and pitched them Funding Invoice and said, look, we're trying to do this fintech business and we need some guidance. Because when you're a student, we studied all of the courses we could take, entrepreneurship and things like that. We studied those, myself and Caltham. But it's not enough, right? Like to be able to put those things into practice and not make just it's not just a theoretical approach to what you're doing. So we went to university through Warwick Ventures, and they're just like, let's actually get to work on your business plan, and let's actually get you in front of investors, in front of people that could help you along the way. And so that was a great push. And then kind of once it came to graduation day, right? We graduated, and it was like, do we run with this business or not? And at that point was when it all became real. Right?